My name is Leo. I'm a Solutions Integration Manager at MindCloud, and today I'm going to show you how to connect to Sage Intacct. The first thing we'll need to do is configure some properties in Intacct itself so MindCloud can connect to it. To start off with, we'll need to enable your web services. To do this, head up to this drop-down menu, select Company, Admin, and go to Subscriptions. Here you'll scroll to the bottom of the list and make sure that this option is enabled. The next thing we'll do is create a user for MindCloud. To do this, go to Company, Users, and you can just click on the plus sign to create the user. The user ID can be something like MindCloud user. The email address will be supplied to you by MindCloud, but the default one is apps@mindcloud.co. The contact name can simply be MindCloud. And if you don't have one, you can just add it. You can click Save. The next thing we'll do is create a web user. Again, go up to Company, Admin, and go to Web Service Users. You can click on the plus sign to create a new one. Here you can say, for the user ID, MindCloud Web User, and the same email address. Under contact name, you can choose the one that you made earlier. There it is. This is the regular username that we created. Here you want to ensure that it is set to business, and it's suggested that the admin privileges are set to limited, which will let MindCloud access the needed portions of your application, but this can vary per integration. If you're using role-based management, then you can define the correct role here. You can use an existing role or create a new one by clicking on Add. If you're using user-based management, you'll see an additional field here called Subscriptions. Use that to manage the roles of the user. The last thing to do is to add your company's sender ID to the allowed senders list. If you don't know what your sender ID is, or might have lost it, contact Intacct and they'll be able to provide it to you. You'll need the sender ID and the password. To add your sender ID to the allowed senders list, head up to this drop-down, select Company, go to Setup, and select Company. Here we're going to go to Security, and you're going to select Edit. Scroll down until you see Web Service Authorizations. If your sender ID isn't in this list, click Add, and enter your sender ID into this field, and click on Save. That's it. This is now set up so that MindCloud can access the system. Let's head on over to MindCloud and get this configured. Here's an example workflow, and here are the credentials that we will use. As you can see, there are several fields to fill in. The label is just an identifier for these credentials. The company ID is the same company ID that you used to log in already. User ID is the web user that we created. User password is the password for that web user. Sender password is the password for the sender ID. That's what you receive from Sage Intacct. And sender ID is that same ID that we added to the allowed senders list. Once this is filled in, click on Done, and let's pick List Contacts. When we run this, MindCloud connects to your system and pulls the needed info. And that's how easy it is to connect to Sage Intacct.